Okay, before we get started, I want to walk you through the absolute chaos that is this camera setup. I am a college student. I cannot afford whatever fancy thing it is that the artists have, where they hoist the camera above the sketchbook. This camera is dangling from a closet rack in my sister's closet, held up on the other side to make it even by packing tape. So if you don't watch this video, I will come to your house. Come join me as I do stuff and things. It's joy of all trades. Hello, my name is Bianca, this is Joy of All Trades, and this is my sketchbook tour. This is my sketchbook cover. It used to be black. I eventually just scraped the black fabric off and painted a rose over it, which I then covered in packing tape. That part of the sketchbook held up. However, I had to rebind it with construction cardboard paper because it was falling apart. So the back of my sketchbook is just covered with a few stickers. I have this one that I got from Pride and this one that says Spread Kindness that is from my college. I'm gonna cover up that name. I have owned this sketchbook for I think over 8 years. I think one of the oldest artworks in the sketchbook is from 2013. So we open the sketchbook up and you can see property of Bianca Swift, and I think it says, "Please don't steal, love ya." So this is the first page. I don't know how you could tell without me saying it. This was when I first learned how to do perspective, so I was very excited about those letters. There's a little narwhal there because I had a history teacher who said they didn't exist. So I don't usually complete the left-hand side of my sketchbook just because I feel like it has a lot of pencil ink and smudges from the other side, and I just don't really like doing it. This picture is the view from outside of my parents' home. It's like a cute little farmhouse. I was not free from the eye obsession that all young artists went through, so there are a bunch of them in here. This was one of the first decent artworks I did. It's a cartoon heart inside of a real heart inside of a cavity in someone's chest. However, when I first showed it to my AP art class, they said it looked like a vagina, and thus all of my dreams were crushed. On the other page, we have sort of thumbnail sketches and then kind of a main idea sketch of a dragon dropping something into the gaping maw of an animal of some sort. However, How to Train Your Dragon already did it better than me, so I did not complete this artwork. Sometimes on the left side, just to fill the space, I'll do weird, horrible comics. On the other side, we have a couple or friends or something holding hands, and then somehow their shadow makes a heart around their heads, and they're in front of a sunset. I don't know, this was 2014, who knows what I was doing. At this point, I don't even know if I qualified as a coherent being yet, so. This artwork is just stolen. I think I'm gonna put the picture that I copied it from, so it's not mine. However, this robot person with varying eyes, I'm really into that, kind of symbolizing disturbedness by having weird, different eyes. This is a frozen heart in an ice cave? I don't know. So no one can tell me this isn't the funniest thing in the world. This is an image of 2 flowers, one which has a dandelion coming out of its root, and the other flower is astonished and horrified. It's oh my gosh, you have weed. Do you get it? Because flowers have weed. Do you get it? Do you get it? As I continue drawing eyes, I get slightly better. This one still mostly sucks. So at the time that I drew this, I thought this was an amazing drawing of a flower. I thought it was so realistic. I thought I was just the hottest thing to walk around. However, and now that I'm looking at it, I'm it definitely could be much better. I like to do this thing where I kind of just vomit ideas and things onto one page. So we have a flower kind of dying upwards on a light bulb. We have another eye. We have a hand kind of coming out of a cityscape. This is a unicorn horn that I was very proud of when I did it. It was originally meant to have a sort of glow coming off of it. So around midpoint of the sketchbook, I really kind of got into the idea of kind of opened sockets. So I really like the idea of like skin being pulled back from eyes, or like some kind of weird, creepy, twisty mouth. Obviously this could have been done better, but keep in mind, I was a young one. This is a cute little cartoon, semi-realistic drawing of a little pumpkin guy. I did it for Halloween. I was very, very proud of it. However, it did not get finished by Halloween. It literally, I think I finished it in December. I named this drawing Mysterious Waters, and it's basically just like Loch Ness Monster type deals, but they all live in one place, and there's a unicorn in the background, and a badly drawn dragon, and Chewbacca, I think, near a mountain, and I like to imagine they all just live happily together, like something out of an X-Men novel. Oh my god, okay, this was one of the full comic strip things that I did. So, this is the story of a man who loves balloons. In the first scene, he's just walking, having a grand old time. Second scene, he's still walking. Third scene, he stops so fast, his hat falls off. It's crazy. In the third scene, we have a balloon stand that is drawn not in perspective. Those classes taught me nothing. And then we have a zoomed in view of what I imagine a stick face looks like. We then have a weirdly hyper-realistic image of a balloon. And then we can see that he's run up to the balloon in the next panel. He grabs onto the balloon, and he's holding his hat in one hand, and he just flies off into the air. What amazing storytelling we have going on over here. So I'm really into the dynamic of cool colors contrasted with warm colors, and I did a sun, but instead of warm colors being the sun rays, I did cool colors. So this is my first ever original creation. Nothing will ever give me as much joy as this does. So this is a frogicorn. Hear me out. It's part frog, part unicorn. It's a very simple shape, okay? Its leg is just a chicken wing. Its body is a goop, and the horn is extremely detailed. And it spits out rainbows, or consumes them, depending on your interpretation of the text. There will be a quiz. This is a land of them. In the corner, we have a little baby frogicorn. He's so small, he can't even swallow a little droplet of rainbow, but he's doing his best. This is a drawing I did of a teacup. I never finished it, but I really love it because the sketch for the kind of liquid backsplash seems very realistic to me, and if I went any longer, I'd ruin it. So this drawing started out with the stump, and it started out with a sketch of a real stump. I then shaded it in, added a kind of pixelated wolf. He's all angles, and he's howling at the moon, and there are clouds in the background, even though I don't know why they'd be there. The next eye, but I am so proud of this one. So I sketched it so that it looked like sort of a cyborg eye. There's binary code in the pupil, and the highlight is really sharp, so it looks, if you look close enough, it looks kind of glassy, and I was very proud of that. So this is a drawing I started of one of my best friends. I finished a bunch of the hair in the corner, however, that took me a really, really long time, and I had lost the picture at this point, so I never got to finish it. So this was the one and only outward instance of my teenage angst. I was a more or less level-headed child. This was the magnum opus of my teenagedom, if you will. This was me messing around with some charcoal. I, again, really like the tactic of representing some kind of insanity with two different eyes. So this was the beginning of an idea kind of maybe about the fates, or of someone controlling my destiny, or pulling at my puppet strings, if you will. So this was the sketch and idea for a magma creature that I wanted to try out painting. It's an elephant, but it's made largely out of lava, and as you can see, I was testing out colors, and this was going to be done in acrylics, so I was seeing what blended, what didn't. Overall, I think it was a pretty successful thumbnail sketch. I never did the actual one, though, so maybe one day. So in my drawings, I like the kind of contrast of some simple, very clean line art, and then a wash of color over them. So this was around the time I got the Pentel brush pens, and I really like the look of those lines and kind of mysterious, nearly creepy situations. And I like using these brushes for the scratching out of eyes as well. I think it's a really cool technique. In the same vein, we have a UFO kind of sucking the life out of anything colorful or alive in maybe like an apocalypse situation. I don't know, I was just having a lot of fun with these brush pens. So this is what I was talking about earlier with this scratching out of the eyes. So if we ignore this poorly colored fist and we focus in on the corner, this was the thumbnail sketch for a much larger image I put, I believe, in my AP portfolio. So on this page, I've done a portrait of my little brother in kind of it's like the comic book aesthetic with like slanted eyes, but I've given him the chiseled jawline. I've given him his trademark big ears, which he says he doesn't have, but he does. And on this next page, we have a mug. A mug. A mug! So for the first time, on the left-hand side of this page, we have a sketch of a girl from my band class. She had put a bag over her head, and I thought it'd be funny, so I sketched it out, but I never finished it. But I really like this sketch, so I might put like a wash of watercolor over it and call it done. So on this next page, I am secretly a 75-year-old white woman, and I really enjoy like those posters with really, really like gross cliche sayings on them, but I make art, so I was like, I can make my own. So be brilliant is in warm colors, be bold is in cool colors, and be brave is in all the colors. Do you get it? Because it's like you're brave enough to. Do you get it? Because it's like because all the colors they're being used. Do you get it? Ooh, so this next one. When I was in high school, I did little comics for this random guy that I liked, and this was just like an extended version of them. So if you're a guy or otherwise, and you're out there and you want someone to draw comics for you, bad ones, hit me up, you know? But like, yikes. So this is a style I like to call tattoo artist if the tattoo artist has never seen any real thing in his actual life ever, and he's actually not a tattoo artist. So the words say something along the lines of, and then in a show of unimaginable power, the heart died so it could save the flower, something like that. And the general idea of it was this heart, this thing that like wasn't necessarily as attractive looking as its cartoon counterpart, but did so much and like was actually worth something, was giving all of itself up so it could save something that, though it was aesthetically pleasing, served no real purpose and was hurting it in the long run. And I mean, I was going through a breakup at this point, if you cannot tell. This was a page of a bunch of stuff I thought I needed to work on, and I also drew a little rose up there because I had gotten mechanical pencils that had colors inside them. So the lead, it was colors. The lead in no, I don't think you're understanding me. The mechanical pencil lead was colors. Anyway, this was me working on like a bunch of things. So there is me working on some eye realism, working on a rose, kind of going back in space, working on some kind of ribbon deals, faces. So when I got frustrated of that, I went on to draw a man that I think I had found this picture somewhere on the internet. So there are a lot of things that I just did not get around to finishing in this sketchbook. One of those was this leaf. So I took a picture of a leaf and I was like, oh my god, what if I draw it in all mediums so I can grow as an artist or whatever. And I got as far as pencil, pen, and brush pen. And then the rest of the things fell out and I was like, well, you know, Zeus doesn't want me to do this, so guess I won't. I'm actually pretty proud of this one, except for the hair, which is horrendous. The general body shape, I think, is pretty. I really like the look of, like, real women, kind of like, kind of going back to, like, the Greek kind of statue aesthetic where women were, like, rounded and had curves and looked like people. I don't know, you know, maybe I'm just different, but I like when women are portrayed as like human beings, it's not as like sexual figures. These are just hand sketches, ignore those. So when I went to visit family, there was a sunset that happened on the soccer field that we were on, and because I don't care about soccer, I started sketching the sunset because it was really, really pretty. This was a thumbnail sketch for a cartoon drawing of my roommate at the time. This is her head, like, peeking out of a teacup. The end result was actually her floating above the teacup, like she was some kind of teacup shaman, but this was the beginning sketches of that. So I have a lot of trouble with kind of glass. I just never really focused too much on it, so I'm not very good at it. So this is me trying to work on that. So there was a Crayola kit where you could make your own markers, and I had done that, and they were in my art drawer, and I needed to justify a reason for them to continue being there. So I was like, what if I start this octopus drawing only using markers that I have made? But I didn't finish it, and those markers are still in my drawer, so we know how that ended. Wow, is that a finished piece? In my sketchbook? It's more likely than you think. No, this was a fish. I was messing around with the gouache. I purchased really, really nice gouache, and then I purchased really, really poor gouache because I can never let myself use the nice gouache because I don't deserve it. So I was messing around with the gouache, so I made a little goldfish. He's cute or whatever, you know. Oh my god, so perhaps the most important thing in my sketchbook. This was me explaining the plot, or one of the semi-plots in the children's show, not like children like for 10-year-olds, children like for 3-year-old. The children's show Miraculous Ladybug. So what happened was they were in a love triangle. However, as I explained to my roommate, they were not in a love triangle because the love triangle they were in was with each other's superhero and human alter egos. So listen, so what happened was Cat Noir, who was also Adrian, is in love with Ladybug. Ladybug, who's also Marinette, is in love with Adrian. But they... Okay, so on this page, I'm really kind of into the simplistic, like, mini house architecture. There's a YouTuber named Minnie Smalls. I'll link her YouTube channel in the description, even though she does not know about me or my existence. But she does really, really cool architecture. And I was really inspired by that. So these are just some thumbnail sketches. Oh, we are nearing the end. If you watched my previous video, you'd see my rainbow afro girls in the background. I don't think I said this in the video, but I did those. I painted those. And these were the thumbnail sketches for the ideas of those. So I went through a lot. Like I said, and I said before, and I will say again, I love cool color, warm color, and then rainbow. I don't know what it is about that thing in my head, but I'm just like, oh, that's the pinnacle of art. On this other page, I was working with, I think, gouache, and I was trying to focus on some layering. I have a cute little landscape on the bottom here that's okay, and then I just filled the rest of the page up with some fun flower guys. Oh, I also did a burning. I don't know, on some of my pages, I like to burn some things into it. I like the texture of it. Also, I think I'm a pyromaniac, so... Less pages, less effort. That's what I always say. So we are like second to last page of my sketchbook. There is a very light sketch of a woman. I imagine she's a very like suave, like poised woman. Like I think she drinks wine and knows the difference between what the flavors are, but she's kind of sitting very gracefully. She's got her tits out, not for the lads, for herself. And on the side, it says, "My fatness is not a flaw." This is another artwork that is going in me and my roommate's home back in my hometown. And we have reached the end of my sketchbook. Thank you for watching. My name is Bianca, and this has been Joy of All Trades. Check the link in the description for my sister's YouTube channel and also the YouTuber I mentioned. And have a very good day. Keep it, because you know what I mean? Because Cat Noir keeps hitting on Ladybug, but she doesn't want that. And Marinette is like Adrian, like I kind of want, but he doesn't want. So what happened is, let me start over. So what happens is, you got the Cat Noir, who loves the Ladybug, right? Ladybug, who is Marinette, who loves Adrian. Adrian, who is Cat Noir, but Cat Noir, who is Adrian, doesn't love the Ladybug. And it's so what you have is